Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. It's a Friday night and you know what that means. I'm out partying. Actually, no, that isn't correct. Instead, what we are doing is we are here to answer all of your questions ahead of Game Week 5. Of course, we are going to go through my wildcard draft at the moment as well, going through all the key information from all the press conferences today as well. And we're going to be looking at some key data, some betting data, some predicted data as well from 11FI and Fantasy Football Hub to hopefully give you all the tools you need to make the best decisions this game week. That's the hope for this stream anyway. Of course, there will be the usual deadline stream tomorrow as well. We'll be starting from 8 o'clock, so make sure you're getting yourself there. So if you are new around here as well, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button and with the bell notifications on as well, so you will be notified when I do go live. I can see some absolute legends in the chat already. We've got VJ, he says, hi all from a cold York. You know, get that heating on, get an extra jumper on. It is starting to get a bit nippy in the UK. George is in here as well. And Golden Goal, he said, skibbity dibbity doo. Yeah, I am a top Sigma, so I know how to speak the youth lingo of today. George has said he's planning to sell ISAK this week, would have 8.9 million in the bank, enough for Watkins. Should I go for Watkins? I already have Rodgers, but I also already have Minter, so it's not like I don't have Brighton cover. Yeah, I probably would go for it. It looks like there's probably going to be a price rise as well tonight for Watkins, so I'd probably do that move tonight, George. Ali's in here, he says good evening. The Cat as well, Tech XEO as well. And FPL Aguero, he's in here as well. He says, "Where are the fantasy EFL streams, bro? There isn't the kind of fan base for that one, is there? There just really isn't. To be honest, it's unfortunate. It is a good game, and I am enjoying it. And there's lots of double game weeks coming up in that, but the fan base just isn't there, is it, mate? To be honest, unfortunately. So nothing we can really do with that one. You're currently still #1 in the world, right? I mean, that is just impressive in itself, mate. So take that as you will. Right, let's dive in. Let's first of all start off with how the wildcard draft is looking. Obviously, if you watch the team selection video, you will have seen how my team is currently lining up for this game week, and this is currently there. Currently this, sorry. But with some clever manoeuvring, we might potentially be able to do a bit of you know, manoeuvring around here with Mykolenko, because it looks like his price is going to drop tonight. And if that is the case, we could drop him down and then bring him back in tomorrow for 4.3 million. That would then mean that we'd have 0.1 million to spend. If that was the case, what I would do is I would get rid of Sharda and we would go for Tavernier, who would rotate well with Vardy and Rodgers in 6 and 7. Then we could maybe have a bit more information on whether or not Sharda is going to be the forward. It would also give us, you know, room to maybe move to some Ipswich players, as they're looking pretty good as well. They've also got, who else had a pretty decent turn at that point? United as well, so maybe Ahmed might potentially be still playing games and look as a valuable option. So I think that's the plan. So hopefully Mykolenko drops tonight. We're going to take him out before obviously that happens. Hopefully he drops tonight, goes down to 4.3, and then we can make that move. I just feel with both Vardy and Sharda being the two rotating players, it does feel a little bit risky, to be honest. So I don't 100% want to go for that in the end, but we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully there is one. Do you think Eze would score? I think he's still got a pretty decent chance, to be honest. Like, everything that Palace do goes through him. I watched the extended highlights today of Palace versus Leicester, and you could just see all the play was going through him. And you do feel at some point he will be on the end of a mega haul. So I probably would still keep him for this week if I didn't have anything urgent to kind of take care of. I still don't think he's a transfer I would be doing, especially if I'm wildcarding next week as well. I feel like dead-ending transfers might have been a thing of the past. With us now having that ability to carry transfers, I feel dead-ending, to be honest, might be dead. It really, really could. Yeah, keep your questions coming in as well, guys. We'll try to answer as many as we can. Hit that like button as well. Should I drop Haaland for Watkins this game week as they play Arsenal? I mean, it's still early in Haaland. He's very, very capable of scoring against absolutely anybody. We've seen that throughout his entire career. The only thing I would say is look how well Inter dealt with him at the in the week. Sorry, they kept him very, very quiet, limited to obviously very, very sparse opportunities as well. So maybe Arsenal see that as a blueprint on how to deal with Erling Haaland, and he has struggled in big games before. We have seen it from him, but I think the way he has started this season, I still probably would want him. I'd probably say there's got to be somebody else within that side that you could drop. I wouldn't be transferring out Haaland this week, I don't think, for me. I just need to hold it for 33 game weeks. Well, I hope so, bro. I hope so. There's plenty of double game weeks coming up, so you definitely can do that. UCL, George, absolutely smashing it. Love that, mate. And my UCL, we're not going to talk about it. I forgot to do my team on Thursday. I was just busy in work. Literally looked at my phone and went, I've not done it. And I had Wirtz, Grimaldo, and Yamal all on my bench. All of them did something. Obviously, Wirtz went off and got like an 18-pointer as well. So, absolute pain. Ring stinger, to be honest. Solanke or ISAK? Ooh, I like Solanke as a pick. I really, really do. I think the Spurs fixtures coming up are probably going a little bit under the radar. And I feel that's probably due to the fact that they've not had the greatest start. There's been obviously some question marks around Ange and whether or not he's still a decent manager and stuff like that. I feel like Solanke is starting to settle within that Spurs side. That injury definitely hasn't helped. However, Brighton, United, Brentford, West Ham, Palace, Aston Villa, Ipswich, it is a good run. There's plenty of greens in there to definitely be targeting as well. What are you thinking of Dwight McNeil? For me personally, I think probably not. I would rather have the talisman of the team for these lesser sides, and I feel like Calvert-Lewin is the talisman of that side, to be honest. He's obviously on all the penalties, but he has started extremely well. I would just say, though, look at the goal he scored. It was outside the box. If you look at his underlying data as well, it is more expected assists rather than expected goals, so I would just maybe monitor that bit. Start 3, Saliba, Trent, Harwood, Bellis, Porro, and Fass. I would probably say, you know what, George, this is probably the ultimate time to go and look at it, isn't it? It is the clean sheet data from Rob T FPL. If you don't go and follow this guy on Twitter, what are you doing? An absolute legend. I'd definitely say I'd be starting Trent with that 40% chance of a clean sheet. Spurs as well with a 31% and Porro, so they're two straight away locked in. Then, of course, we've got Saliba, Harwood, Bellis, and Fass. I still think I'd probably go not Harwood, Bellis. I still feel I'd go for Saliba, to be honest. This Arsenal defence still look really, really strong, and I feel they'll be set up in that low block that they do so well. So yeah, I'd probably go with those three. What should I do with João Pedro? And between Trent, Robbo, and Saliba, who should I have for game week 6? Probably Saliba. And I probably would say maybe we want to start pivoting away from the Liverpool players, at that point. Who's your captain? I will go for Salah. Yeah, I think for me, Salah is the best captain. Highest for projected points this week on the Fantasy Football Hub model, as we'll see. Liverpool as well have the best projected goal numbers as well. So for me, it just makes sense. What's to do with João Pedro? I mean, we can move on and we can take a look at that as well. Obviously, this is from all the press conferences today. So we've got Unai Emery on Ollie Watkins. He's 100% ready to play. He's had some problems like other players, but not relevant. He's now available 100% to play. So yeah, Watkins will play for me, definitely. João Pedro will train today ahead of game week 5 with a late decision on his involvement still to be made. And there are pictures as well on Twitter kind of kicking around of him in training with a yellow bib on and stuff like that. However, they won't take any risks but he will be part of training. And I also saw there was like another quote floating around saying like how important he is for the side, but no one player is bigger than a whole team. So that seems to me like it could be benched. And if you also look at it as well, Brighton's fixtures definitely start to tail off. I know they've had an absolutely stupendous start to the season, but Nottingham Forest, who are third for XG conceded, Chelsea away, Tottenham away, Newcastle away, Wolves, that good fixture in there. Then it's Liverpool and City. So even if, like, you know, I think if I'd be tempted with somebody like DCL or Vardy, especially if I was on a wild card next week. You might as well just, I think, maybe take that gamble for me personally. And then finally on Alexander Isak, he took a knock to his foot. We'll find out more today and make a decision. Hopefully it's not too bad. There's also been a few pictures, but I don't know how reliable they are on Twitter circulating as well. So that may be something to just keep an eye on over the next coming days as well, just to maybe see if he is fully fit and available. However, for me personally, it's Eddie Howe. The man cannot be trusted, to be honest. He is a pathological liar. And I just genuinely would not trust him. He would be absolutely incredible at, like, Among Us, to be honest, with Eddie Howe, because that guy can lie through his teeth. Golden Balls, if anybody remembers the show, he would be perfect at the split and steal right at the end. So, yeah, I don't know how much I trust Eddie Howe and his comments and whether or not I believe him in the fact that ISAK might play. I think if I was maybe wildcarding next week or I didn't really have the bench cover, I think the sensible move, and if I've got the money in the bank, would be to move to Watkins now that we've got that, that safety net, if you like, of him, of Emery saying 100% chance that he's going to play. So that's where I probably would be backing it. I think as well, we've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It looks like he's obviously overcome the illness that he was evidently suffering with, or whatever he had obviously going wrong with him as well. So, yeah, I think we'll be fine, guys. Let's have a look what questions we do have from you guys as well. Do you think ISAK starts tomorrow? Yeah, I mean, we've kind of just gone through it there, to be honest, haven't we? I think potentially, but like I said, Eddie Howe is a pathological liar. He has got a track record of fibbing, and FPL managers being on the blunt end of that, to be honest. So yeah, someone said Howe and Pinocchio. Yeah, 100%. I wanted to try after game week 4. Had Sanchez and Gabriel on my bench. Oof. Haaland captain. No, for me, I think the best captain this week is Salah, and we'll look at some more data to definitely support that as well. I have high hopes for DCL tomorrow. Me too, mate. Let's hope he's fully fit and available and ready to go for that one. Yeah, he hasn't got much choice with Wilson out, but he very easily could play Gordon up top. He did that the second half against Wolves. Who would you do to Haaland and Watkins? Smith Rowe to Son. Would you do Haaland to Watkins and Smith Rowe to Son before wildcarding next week? You could do, but like I've said to people, I think like dead-ending teams might be a little bit gone and redundant. I think the days of doing that could be over, to be honest. Like I genuinely really do, because transfers going forward, now that we can like take them forward, could allow you to do mini wildcards for future weeks coming up as well. Start Raya and Gabriel or Raya and Aina. I probably would go... Who's got the better clean... They're both even. So you could very easily go for the double up of Arsenal. It wouldn't surprise me. Like, Gabriel's got that set piece threat. Raya will be making some saves in this game as well. So, yeah. Hey, if you don't mind, could you make the best free hit team in your opinion, even if it's done quickly? No. I'd probably just say target the teams on here. So it probably would be like looking at a triple Liverpool. I probably would have Son in there as well. I would have Watkins. I probably would have a Villa defender as well. And then I'd probably take a gamble on maybe like a Leicester and Everton player. That's probably what I'd recommend for you, to be honest. Cup size, I am a double D man all the way, mate. All the way. Newcastle have good players, but the way they play and strategy is questionable. Yeah, I mean, they've not started great. They're currently unbeaten, but they've looked woeful. They really have. Gone ISAK to DCL 1 week punt. Well, let's hope it works for you, mate. If I'm to get a defender for 1 week, who should I get? I mean, I probably would look at the clean sheet percentages here. Liverpool definitely would be looking at some of their defenders. Maybe a Brighton defender as well. A Villa defender. Surprisingly, City are up there as one of the best teams for a clean sheet this week, which you wouldn't imagine. But the betting odds do speak. On wildcard 7, would you favour Archer or Delap if you had to pick one? I don't really like either as an option. I would maybe say if I was on that game week 7 one, I maybe would try and get the Wolves guy for 5.5. His data has not looked awful. And I think longer term his fixtures could be better than a Delap or an Archer. I'm just not convinced on either of those two guys. Not sure who would you bench. I mean, yeah, you might as well play ISAK, and if I feel you've got everything right. I'm tempted to replace Palmer with Saka, as Palmer has been blanking so far. I probably would say I'd want to have Palmer for this week over Saka, just because of that better projected goals, as we can see at the top. So yeah, I probably would maybe wait 1 week and then go and get Saka next week. Trent captain, I mean, the clean sheet percentages are definitely there. However, if we look at Bournemouth as a team as a whole, their XG numbers have been surprisingly decent this season. I think they might be 4th or 5th for XG. And I know they've got such a low percentage chance here of obviously scoring a goal, 0.93, one of the lowest on this list. In fact, it is the lowest in terms of projected goals, but I just don't think you keep putting up good data like that and, you know, go to a place like Anfield where, as well, Alisson's out injured, so you might lose that clean sheet, to be honest. Yeah, I've just spoke about Strand Larsen. That was the guy I was speaking about. I think for me, I'm not really going to be looking at Wolves till probably not 5.5, till game week 10 and beyond. I still think they've got some difficult fixtures coming up. They've also been absolutely woeful. So yeah, that's where I would be jumping on them. Watkins and Mbeumo in for Palmer and Pedro for free. Yeah, I don't mind that. I think that can work. I think that could work. I like that. I like that a lot. Right, let's move on to more data from Rob TFPL. I couldn't remember what was coming up next. I thought it was going to be the 11-5 data. It is not. It is the data from Rob TFPL. This is the top projected goal scorers, again, according to the betting markets. Salah and Haaland pretty much neck and neck. But as we'll come on to see, a lot of the projected points models do have Salah coming out on top as well this week. Both were interestingly with a 50% probability of 1+ goals as well. Watkins extremely high up there with 0.56 as well. So the people that are making that switch, if obviously you feel that ISAK isn't going to feature in that game, 0.56. However, you could be vindicated if ISAK does start with a 0.55. Son and Solanke very, very high up there as well with good projected goal numbers as we saw in the last section. So that one could work out as well. And then some people have obviously been saying they're looking at potentially getting rid of Cole Palmer. Maybe it could be worth just holding on for potentially one more week with a 0.48% chance. DCL down the bottom as well, so could be a very, very nice cheap forward option going forward. George has just questioned Big Ben, Burton, Diaz on this list as well. Yeah, I'm not 100% convinced on that one either, but I guess we'll have to wait and see when he's scored against Ipswich and we're just all sat here with old egg on our face. But it is what it is, I guess. Let's keep this show ticking over. Let's move on to some data from 11-5. If you want to go and check it out, link in the description. And as you can see, this is the projected clean sheets over the next few weeks. So if you're on a wildcard this week, or of course wildcarding in game week 6, I feel this data is super useful as well. So some of the top teams we want to be looking targeting from a defensive perspective over the next few weeks are definitely going to be Arsenal and Manchester City. Despite Everton not keeping any clean sheets so far this season and being one of the worst defences, I do feel when Branthwaite is back, they will be a lot more of an appealing side, and I definitely feel, you know, there's definitely some undervalued assets. If maybe Mikalenko gets another drop to 4.3 tonight, he could be a great option. For those looking for a cheap goalkeeper, maybe one of Flecken, Sells could be decent options with, again, really, really good projected clean sheet data coming up for those guys as well, so that might be potentially an area to consider as well. We've also got Aina, who's at 4.4, so maybe, again, if you're looking for a cheap defender on a wild card, he is expected to go up as well tonight, so maybe you get yourself an extra 0.1 million in value going further forward. In terms of teams I probably would be looking to avoid, I definitely would start shifting away from my Newcastle defenders. United's still not there for me. It's probably going to be around game week 8 where I feel we want to start loading up on Manchester United players. And obviously Bournemouth, Southampton and Wolves, the fixtures just aren't there. They've not put in great expected goals conceded numbers so far either, so yeah, I probably would recommend avoiding those ones. Burton Diaz has the record for the most Premier League games without winning. Yep, this weekend could break it though. It could break it. When do you think is the best time to wildcard? I guess it's team dependent, and I think with the ability to roll transfers this year, I feel the wildcard has lost some of its appeal. But what I would say is probably 6, there's a good set of fixtures swinging there. 8, there's a decent set of fixtures swinging there, and then 12, those are probably the ideal weeks. However, for me, I feel this week I have been forced a little bit, and my hand has just kind of been had to be played, you know what I mean? So there's never really like an ideal time. It's all very much team dependent, but those are some of the weeks I would be looking to target big fixture swings. However, sometimes I feel with that ability now to obviously roll 5 free transfers, you could get up to that point and have all 5 free transfers and then not need the wild card itself and get some of the players in and do like a mini wild card. Who would you start? Mazraoui, Lewis or Robinson? Who's got the best clean sheet data for this week? Probably Lewis then, out of all of those, looking at this, 34%. The betting data as well was pretty confident as well in him. I've captained Watkins again and got Duran in my team for this week. Constantly scoring, will become a regular up top with Watkins, better than Pedro and the other cheap attackers. I do feel if he can lock himself down a starting place in that side, he will be a fantastic option. But for now, I don't know if that's necessarily the case and it's necessarily going to happen over the next few weeks. European football, Carabao Cup as well. There's probably going to still be some rotation as well. My spidey senses are telling me there's a Rodgers will be benching soon. He has played a lot of 90s recently. However, Emery is a big fan of him. He's definitely, from an eye test perspective, helping that team tick along. But I do get your point. Should I sell Jota for Mbeumo? I think if we maybe get early team news tomorrow that Jota's not going to feature, I would be tempted to do that one. Who do you bench? Rodgers, Ahmed, Smith Rowe, or Pedro, sorry. Who have United got tomorrow? Who have they got? Have they got Palace? So I probably would say Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe, maybe. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that -4 Yusuf. Smith Rowe or McNeil. I would say McNeil longer term. The fixtures are a lot better for Everton. However, all his data is just coming from expected assists. There's nothing really in terms of expected goals, and he is also playing for one of the worst teams. And I would prefer having maybe a Dominic Solanke from Dominic Calvert-Lewin if I was to go for an Everton player. Semenyo has more appeal for me. However, the long-term fixtures are definitely not there, and you are going to probably have to book a transfer in a bit later. Jared Bowen or Mbeumo? It probably would be Mbeumo, just with the penalties and potentially playing as a 9, could play on the right. Yeah, he's the better option for me. Let's continue. Let's take a look at the projected data, of course, from 11ify. Again, like I said, there is a link down in the description for that one. Make sure you are liking today's stream, guys, though. It does push it out to more people, which is what we want to see. And as you can see, this is the projected goal numbers over the next few weeks. Again, if we're looking for attackers to start targeting, I would be looking very, very highly on this list for teams that have decent projected goal numbers. So as we see here, Brentford well above West Ham, so maybe even that could be the argument to go for, and Mbeumo over, of course, going for a Jared Bowen. United starting to creep up, and I definitely am going to keep my eye on Garnacho, Rashford, Bruno over the next few weeks. I am eyeing up bringing their players in around game week 8. Watkins and the Villa boys should do extremely well as well for the next few weeks. Some pretty good numbers in there as well. People that are potentially going with Solanke could be justified as well, with really good projected data coming up for them in terms of projected goals. Arsenal as well, we know they have that great run in 6 and 7, so definitely worth considering the likes of Saka and Havertz at that point. And then, of course, Manchester City, they have some really good fixtures after game week 7. I do feel 7 to 11 is probably where Haaland becomes a mainstay in terms of captain. So, yeah, I definitely think that could be a decent shout to go for. VJ's got the right idea. Give Tom a like. It costs absolutely nothing. It does indeed, guys. It costs nothing. You're getting plenty of value out of today's stream as well. I'm giving you loads. Absolutely loads here. We're answering people's questions. We're vibing along as well. Like I said, there will be a deadline stream tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Of course, make sure you, if you're new around here, you're hitting that subscribe button. You're doing so with the bell notification on, so you will be notified when I do go live tomorrow morning. The final slide I do have prepared for today's stream. Obviously, we'll stay live for a bit, answer some of your guys' questions, talk through my wildcard plans as well. Is the Fantasy Football Hub Predictor. Obviously, if you want to go and take advantage of their 50% off sale, it does feel like I've been saying this all season because I have, but it will run out at the end of this month. So go and take advantage of it while you still can. It does have Haaland as one of the top predicted points for the next few weeks. Same with Mohamed Salah. Interestingly, Palmer and Saka very close as well. The people that were potentially maybe suggesting going for, removing Eze might be one to potentially look at and see where the predicted points are coming for the next few weeks, so maybe not worth it. And then, of course, we do have Phil Foden as well. Now that he's starting to see some pretty decent minutes, it looks like Pep as well was very confident about his abilities over the next few weeks. He could be a very good option to potentially be going considering as well for their good upcoming fixtures as well. What other questions have we got? FPL Wormer said ISAK out, Solanke in. It very easily could be a great option, to be honest. The fixtures are there. I just think Spurs have probably been a little bit underwhelming so far this season, but the projected points are looking good. The projected goals from 11FI as well are also looking really decent. So yeah, it could be a great option. -4 for Saka to Salah captain. Is that worth a -4? You're going to need... I mean, it is giving you a great captain. Obviously, you'd probably want Saka, though, for 6. I'd probably say yes, but at the same time, I don't like it personally, but it does give you the best captaincy option this week, and you would be backing Salah to do extremely well. He did play a full 90 midweek. You feel like if Liverpool go a couple goals up, he maybe could be rested. That'd be my only worry. Is Alisson 100% out? It's not been like 100% confirmed. It's just been said like he's got some groin issues or something. So he might still play, but it's not like looking good. ISAK to Vardy, Winks to Mbeumo, thoughts? Yeah, I like both of those moves. Both of those moves give you a penalty taker, kind of the key talisman for both of those sides as well. So yeah, I kind of like both of those moves. Do keep the questions coming in, guys. Like I said, we'll go through my wildcard team after in a little while as well, and talk about that. Should I substitute João Pedro for Winks? Nah, I'd start João Pedro. He's been pictured in training today, so I'd start him. You're bringing Saka again in game week 6. I'm guessing you're on a wild card, right? I'm guessing you're on a wild card. VJ's got it right. It is the hamstring tightness. Hey, Jamie, how's it going, man? One of our channel moderators entering the chat. I need to bench Mazraoui, Lewis, Robinson, and Fass. I probably would say Fass. I just would. Like, Leicester were 2-0 up and absolutely bottled it at Palace. Yeah, I'd probably go Fass. Jamie's got the right idea. Don't forget to smash that like button as well. Let's head over to how my wildcard draft is looking for game week 5. Obviously, this is how it is if there are no price changes tonight. Now, we're going to take Mykolenko out just for tonight. We're going to bring him back in because the Everton fixture run coming up is absolutely ridiculous. And once Branthwaite is back and available, they will be a better defence. Rotates extremely nicely with Aina and Konza as well. So that all makes sense to me, to be honest. But hopefully he drops. We then have an extra 0.1 in the bank. And then I could go for Tavernier rather than Sade. And I feel Tavernier... If you look at some of the data that he's actually been putting up, let me go and quickly grab him a second. Where is he? Tavernier. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. This is why I'm tempted with Tavernier. Look at some of the data this guy has been putting up. Now, I feel what I'm going to do tonight is I'm gonna look at some extended highlights, but looking at some of this data, look at the numbers that this guy is putting up here. 2.7 goal involvement. A 0.7 goal involvement per 90 as well is pretty decent. It's pretty decent. And he's only got 1 attack in return to go with that as well. So a huge underperformance. And the reason I want him is because Vardy's fixtures are poor in 6 and Rodgers is poor in 7. So we'd want him for Southampton and Leicester. Then obviously at that point as well, we could transfer him out before they play Arsenal, Aston Villa and City. And the teams that I were looking at was like, does United have a decent run? And I think Ipswich after... Yeah, so in 8, Ipswich play Everton, Brentford and Leicester as a run of 3. Again, we could just switch on to one of their midfielders, whoever's looking the best at that 5.5 million price point as well. So there's plenty to think about here. And I feel that would make this team a lot better. However, because of budget, we do need a... what's it called? We do need a price drop for Mykolenko tonight. Now, if we do look at the... let me just quickly update this as well, so maybe it's got them in a little bit more. But as we can see, where is he? Mykolenko is on here. 1.06 price prediction drop tonight for Mykolenko. So it's possible. It is possible. Obviously, we're gonna need it big time to free up some money. But we'll wait and see. Who else is predicted to drop tonight, though? Maybe we could sneak into this team. I don't think there's really anybody else who could like sneak in. So yeah, it would have to be him. So yeah, we're desperate for a Mykolenko price drop, and I feel that team looks a lot better doing it that way than the other way we had it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of that. I have 0.5 in the bank to upgrade ISAK to Watkins. Have ESR and Robinson on the bench. Have Pedro. Should I free transfer? Not planning on a wild card in 6. I probably would free transfer, yeah. It looks like Watkins' price is going to probably go up tonight as well. Check if he underperformed his stats from last season. That is a good point. We'll go and check that in a second. Bit of a rogue one, but not in the bank. Thoughts on ISAK to Watkins and Henderson to a 4 million goalkeeper for a team with no playing goalkeepers. No, I probably wouldn't do that. Who would you start next to? Trent, Veltman, Digne, Greaves. I'd still probably say, it still seems like Digne is going to be number 1. So I probably would go Trent, Veltman, and Digne, and then I would still probably have Greaves above Robinson. Is Solanke dropping in price? No, he isn't. No, I don't think you need to do anything with that team. It seems fine. What should I do with João Pedro starting this weekend? Also start Gavardiol or Eze? Yeah, I probably would still start him. There is going to be a late fitness check on him, though. If you are wildcarding next week, it might just make sense to move to a Vardy or a Calvert-Lewin as a one-week punt. Kudus is going down. He is. Did you wildcard Tom? Yes, I did. Yeah, I'm not going to captain Vardy. Salah's the best captain. Having Vardy will be a big enough differential in itself. No, I don't think it is. I don't like wasting free transfers on goalkeepers, so probably not. Which 2 should I bench from Rodgers, Havertz, Konza, and João Pedro? Probably going to be maybe Havertz and João Pedro. Just Havertz hasn't got a great fixture, has he? And João Pedro's a doubt, so that makes sense to me. Who's better, Solanke or Wood? Longer term, probably Solanke. Everyone on the Salah cap, I hate it. It just is what it is. He is, like, on paper, the best captaincy option for this week, so it makes complete sense. Let's have a look at last season, then. Obviously, guys, if you want to go and check this out for yourself, head over to Fantasy Football Hub. Tavernier. Right, here he is. So, last season, he got 3 goals off 3.88. So, that's about fine. 7... Where is it? Where's assists? 4 off 4.24. So, he didn't underperform anything. He pretty much matched his data. He did just match his data. Expected goal involvement, 8.1. Goal involvement, 7. Like, it's an underperformance, but it's not, like, a massive underperformance. There's definitely going to be, like, bigger ones. So, yeah. Yeah, like, some players massively overperform them. Some are quite tight. But, yeah. It's not like, anything massive, to be honest. So, yeah. His data's not bad from last season. So, I'm fingers crossed Mykolenko drops tonight. That would be ideal for me. And if Mykolenko drops, I feel a lot more confident going into this wild card. Schade is a gamble. Like, there's no way around it. He is a gamble. Like, Brentford are short of attackers. He will be playing at some point on the left or up front. But I feel with Carvalho's good performance, and I feel like Tavernier's going to do better than Schade. Schade's done absolutely nothing since joining the Premier League. It is just that appeal of long-term great fixtures and the fact that he rotates quite nicely with Vardy and obviously Rodgers as well. Apparently Delap's out for Ipswich. I didn't see that. Why Rodgers over Ahmed? I mean, Fulham's fixtures are tailing away. So yeah, that's the reason with that one. Tom, 1 million in the bank, and I'm thinking of Jota downgrade to afford an Arsenal defender. I mean, yeah, it probably makes sense. There's some predicted lineups. Again, believe them or believe them, like however much you want to believe them, that don't have Jota starting this week. But I think he'll start over Nunes. Like, Nunes has been terrible. He's genuinely been terrible. We've also got a poll going around the chat. The best cheap forwards for this week. DCL is currently leading the poll with 41% of the vote. We've also got Vardy with 24%, Pedro with 24%, and then 11% have gone for other. If you have gone for other, let me know in the chat. Should I -4 for Salah captain or leave captain as Haaland? I'm a form between this decision. Haaland's still projected to do extremely well for this week, so I wouldn't even be like put off by it. Points predictions just for this week. So he's still the second highest projected point scorer this week. So it's not the worst thing in the world. And he very easily could be one of those players that does just bag. I wonder what Tavernier's predicted points are. 4.3, 3.9. 4.3. What about Sharda? It's a massive increase, so yeah. It does make sense to do that. It does make sense to do that. If I remove Watkins, should I go... ISAK, sorry. Should I go for Watkins or Solanke? I probably would prefer to go for Watkins. Yeah, for me personally, I'm not eyeing up any United defenders till game week 8. I still need to see them be a better defence. Not only in terms of an eye test perspective, but also a statistical can't get my words out. You know what I mean. And of course, then at 8 as well, there's a really, really nice fixture run as well. Do keep the fixtures. Do keep the questions coming in, guys. Like I said, I will be live tomorrow for a deadline stream at 8 o'clock in the morning. Nice and early. We'll be doing team reviews. We'll be answering as many of your guys' questions as well. And of course, we will obviously be finding out if Mykolenko did go for that price drop or not. Hopefully he did. And hopefully we've got that extra 0.1 million in the bank. Then I would feel a lot more confident with this team going in with Tavernier, Mykolenko. But yeah, I would just feel a lot more confident. Genuinely would. Genuinely would. Thoughts on Palmer captain? Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst idea in the world. Genuinely, if you look at FPL review, the projected points. Actually, let's get that up. Let's get that website up. FPL review. Again, another fantastic website if you are looking for stuff for FPL and stuff like that. Can you guys see this? I hope you can. Yeah, you can. There you go. You can sort of see it. So yeah, Palmer is 6. So if I filter by this week, no, bollocks. Hang on. We're getting there. Hey, right. So this is just for this game week. As we can see, Salah top, Son second, Palmer third, Haaland all the way down in 4th with Solanke. Solanke again, another player that we've been kind of talking about tonight. He is projected to get more points than Watkins. Somebody who we've obviously been alluding to, Jamie Vardy's here as well. Robertson, I think Foden's massively going to shoot up, and that's kind of why I want to go for this 4-3 premium structure, is because I want to maybe pick up a Foden for Salah in 8, I think was where I was looking at. So yeah, that's probably the plan with that one. But yeah. I'm second in your UCL Fantasy Mini League with 136 points. Very nice, mate. Do you think it's a good idea to wildcard this week? I probably would only recommend him wildcarding if you are maybe going to be priced out of building your... Like, if you originally planned to wildcard in 6 and you are now being priced out of building that ideal team for 6 that you wanted, then I probably would say wildcarding. For me, my team was a mess. Other people were going to be going down. I would have been priced out of a lot of moves that I wanted to make. It would not surprise me to see Brian Mbeumo score this week and then get another price increase. It genuinely would not surprise me. So I think price is a big thing. However, sometimes information can be worth more than that 0.1 or 0.2 million when it comes to building these wildcards, because we'll have a lot more to look at and a lot more kind of data to work with, and maybe there'll be a player this week that just flies through, and we're definitely looking at. Hey Shane, how's it going, man? Wildcard team looks great. There's still maybe 1 or 2 tweaks I reckon to be made, but I do like the look of it. I did a transfer. I took out ISAK out for Vardy. Prefer him over Calvert-Lewin. Vardy has better fixtures. Will you bench Vardy in 6 for Semenyo? My plan is currently for Sharda because that's the team, but I can't afford Semenyo, so we are hoping Mikalenko drops tonight so I can buy him back for 4.3. Then we can go and get Tavernier. What's my rank? It's like 5 million. It's genuinely the worst start I've ever had to FPL. Genuinely terrible. Do you recommend to replace ISAK with Havertz? It's not a bad shout. Like, he's not a great fixture this week, but the next 3 after that are really, really good. So yeah, it could be very beneficial. Genuinely could be very, very beneficial. But yeah, this is how the wildcard team is looking, and I am absolutely dying of thirst today. Oh, we're gonna need some more water for tomorrow's stream. I'm telling you. But yeah, keep the questions coming in. Like I said, guys, there will be another stream tomorrow for the deadline at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll be doing team reviews. We'll be getting all the good stuff out the way. For a defender, who would you recommend for 1 week before wildcard? 5 million on or under? I probably would be maybe looking at... not that one. Sorry, mate. I probably would be looking at whoever's got decent clean sheet percentages from here. So maybe Konate could be a decent shout. 40% chance of a clean sheet. 34% maybe Lewis Dunk, somebody like that. Villa, maybe a Konza. Maybe someone like that. A Colwell from Chelsea. Maybe something like that. I would go for Shugwar as a differential. Southampton's, like, this is the thing. Southampton's clean sheet data is abysmal. So for me, it's just not worth it. I get his attacking strats might be crazy, but I'm not playing around with a Southampton defender. I'm just not. It's just not worth it for me. Should I bring in Mbeumo in for Jota now or wait 1 more week? I think if I could hold Jota, if we get news that he's definitely starting tomorrow, then I would hold. However, if leaks start coming out that he's been, out the lineup, then yeah, I probably would make that move. Like a few people, I have the potential ISAK problem. Would love to move to Watkins, but it blocks getting double Arsenal defence or Havertz next week. Okay. I guess like you're just going to have to play the old Eddie Howe, am I a liar game. But it's one of those, isn't it? Is ISAK out? He's not out. This is the quote we've got from Eddie Howe today. He took a knock on his foot. We'll find out more today, meaning obviously the day that's just pretty much passed. Make a decision, and hopefully it's not too bad. So, he could play, but Eddie Howe has a trait of being a bit of a liar. Let's put it that way. He's not very honest in his press conferences. He's just not. No, but Doherty's different because Doherty played for a Wolves side that actually managed to keep clean sheets. Like, there's a complete difference. What's my thoughts on Vardy? I mean, let me just show you my wildcard team, mate. That's probably my thoughts on Jamie Vardy. To give you like my honest opinion, I think it is a bit of a gamble, right? Because he is old. He is 37 now. He will see some rotation. Like I don't think he's going to play full 90s every week. But I still think he is the starting striker for Leicester at the moment on penalties. And the guy is just a natural finisher. He's literally, the goals he scored this season are just Jamie Vardy goals. And if you've watched him, like I remember owning him a couple of seasons ago and I loved it. Back when he was like 10 million as well. Not even like a cheap option. And he scored like 2 and I was like, I'm in love. I'm genuinely in love. So yeah, I'm kind of back there, to be honest. Mentally and whatever. But it is a risk. But I think for that price point as well, I think he's potentially worth a bit of a gamble. I hate Howe. Yeah, Eddie Howe is just... brother's a war criminal. Let's put it that way. He's a bit of a dick, isn't he? the pathological liar that is Eddie Howe every single week. That's what we have to deal with. It really, really is. Ah, dear, dear, dear. Should I play Gabriel or Robinson? Again, if we look towards the Rob T FPL and the betting data, it actually bodes quite well for Fulham slightly. 19%. I thought it would be a little bit more higher than that. It's only 19%, so probably would say you could maybe chance it with Gabriel and hope maybe there's a set-piece goal, or maybe he's just putting in a load of tackles, blocks, and Arsenal do keep a clean sheet. I don't expect a lot of goals in that game, to be honest. I just don't see it. But yeah, if I was playing the percentages, I probably would play that extra 2% towards Fulham. He should be up for crimes against FPL. Bro, Pep Guardiola would be a war criminal if it was for crimes against FPL. Is Palmer worth the money, or should I try and bring in Salah in his place? I think Palmer this season is playing a different role to what he did last season. He's not going to get the same amount of penalties, and so far from what we've seen from him, it's just not the same. It's just not the same, and he's not acting like a premium. For me, he's probably been one of the worst performing premiums so far this season, so yeah. Konza or Gabriel? I definitely would probably play Konza over Gabriel with that 34% chance of a clean sheet for me, mate. That's the way I'd go with that one. Right, guys, I think we're going to leave it there. We've been live for about 50-ish minutes. Like I said, we will be back tomorrow for, of course, the deadline stream. That'll be at 8 o'clock. So if you aren't obviously new around here or an already existing subscriber, make sure you have notifications on so you will be notified when I do go live. We'll be doing team ratings as well. And yeah, just answering any questions, seeing what obviously news comes in, and hopefully we see that fat, juicy Mikalenko price decrease so we can, make the desired moves possible. But yeah, thank you very much for watching today, guys. Absolutely appreciate everybody that's been in today's stream. You're absolute legends, and hopefully see you along for tomorrow's deadline stream.